In this video, we will be talking about mobile optimization and understanding different types of search results. So mobile optimization, this is where you optimize your website for your mobile devices. So things like phones, iPads, any kind of smartphone, like whether it's an Android or a iPhone, those types of devices. So you want to make sure your website displays well across all devices, and that includes laptops, that includes desktop computers. You want your computer, you want your website to look the same across all devices, no matter what kind of computing device it is. So that is the key to mobile optimization. It's a big factor that Google has. Studies show that Google gets around 90% of all the mobile searches when it comes to search engines, and that's because Google has put a lot of weight on that. Now, we already discussed that Google gets the majority of overall searches, about 2/3 of them, but Google actually, compared to Bing or Yahoo, actually carries a very large amount of the load of mobile searches from a phone. So you need to make sure you're optimizing for mobile. And that's one of the reasons Google puts a big weight on it in your overall SEO strategy. Not only is mobile optimization going to help your customers, it's going to also help you get more customers and more visitors to your website because it actually engages people, gets people to view your content much easier, and it also is going to ultimately help you rank in the search engines because it's a key factor. A Nielsen mobile path to purchase study found that 74% of mobile users conduct a search on their phone before purchasing. That's again 74% of mobile users conduct a search on their phone before purchasing. It was something I wanted to repeat twice because it's such an important statistic. 83% of those people intend to make a purchase within a day. So I hope you're starting to see now the importance of having a mobile strategy. That means having a device, a website that is mobile optimized. Not only will it help your search engine rankings, but it also shows a very serious amount of website visitors will conduct searches on mobile phones before they end up purchasing something, a service, a product. That could even mean going to Amazon to review a product. That could mean going to a product related website in their downtime. Phones make it so easy for people to quickly search on things. Maybe they're in a store and they want do a comparison price shop on a certain item. It does not matter what the case is, but mobile makes things so easy for people to read. They can read on their device, at whether they're on the go, if they are, in the restroom, on their break at work, whatever the case might be, a phone, a mobile device gives people the ability to really review things and easily research content and certain things. So keep that in mind. 83% of people surveyed that did a search, 83% of those intended to make a purchase within one day, 55% within the hour. So that means people that are searching on a phone are very motivated, and that should motivate you to have a mobile optimized website. Google will rank your site lower if you don't have responsive design. They actually will look into that as a factor. They will consider that because Google wants the best experience possible for their visitors. They know that 90% of all mobile searches across all the search engines run through them as well, so they put a lot of weight on it. Responsive design means a mobile friendly design. That's kind of the big phrase that you're going to hear passed around. It's called responsive design, and that means mobile friendly design. It means your website looks good across all platforms, all devices, including iPads, iPhones, MacBook Pros. That gives you an idea. Grab the corner of your current website and then try and move it, and you'll actually see if your website is responsive or not. So if you go up to the right hand corner, you know how you can resize a window if you're sitting here on a computer right now, and you go to your website and you were to actually click your mouse, you could actually see if your website is mobile responsive. Depending on which way you size it, your website should actually adjust to fit that window. And that will actually, it's a quick test you can run to see if your website is mobile responsive or not. And that's a test that you should run on your website, because if it's not, you need to find an outsourcer, find somebody that could give you some sort of a WordPress theme, whatever it is you need to change. You should go that direction, especially if you're a local business. If you're an offline brick and mortar business and you aren't mobile, you are really hurting yourself, because when people are out and about and they want a place to eat, they want a place to get their nails done, they want a place to get a haircut, they want a place to, go find an investment agent, insurance agent, whatever the case is, most of the time they're going to do those on their device and they want to look that stuff up. So it's really important, especially brick and mortar businesses. And it same goes for an e-commerce. If you're selling physical products on your website or your web store, if you're selling digital products, if you're not mobile friendly, it's going to be difficult for you to garner and pick up customers from your competition if they are mobile friendly. Because the world is becoming a mobile world, and you need to adapt for that, or you're going to end up suffer the consequences down the road when the percentages shift even more to more and more mobile use. If so, if your website does shift, if you do that test where you grab the corner of your website and you resize your screen around, then your site is already responsive and you're good to go. If it does not, then you've got some problems. Then you need to get it fixed. Check your site on your smartphone as well so you can see how it displays on your smartphone. That's a factor a lot of people forget to do. They'll check their device and be like, hey, cool, our website looks awesome on the computer. But that's just half the battle. Remember, a lot of people are using the phone now. It's becoming more and more in the 50-50 range, and eventually it's going to get even more. And that percentage could be even higher of mobile users. It's just always increasing with bigger and bigger devices and the more powerful phone devices that are out there. So check it on your smartphone. If you are hiring a web designer, check your website out on your smartphone as well before you give them the approval, and then let them know what you would like to see fixed. Here's an example here of responsive web design. This website here, this is a website for a coffee drink called Ilissimo. And what you see here, this is on the left hand side what the website actually looks like if you were to look at it on a computer, on a laptop computer. That's what it would look like. The one in the middle here is what it would look like if it was on an iPad, a Kindle, a Samsung Galaxy tablet, Note, something like that. That's what it would look like there. And then again, the one on the right is a smartphone like an Android or an iPhone. So you can see here that the website actually, even though it shifts a little bit, the image at the top pretty much stays the same. You'll see that the content itself, it's easy to read, and it's not, especially on the mobile side, the one on the far right, you're not having to zoom in to actually read that content. Now, if everything stayed exactly how it did on your computer, you would actually have to be zooming in on that, and it wouldn't be very easy and very friendly for people that are trying to use that device, use your website on the phone. So it's really important that you know and understand how your website looks within a mobile browser. And so this is an example again of responsive design. It's the exact same design, but it shifts and it looks differently depending on what size the screen is. And again, if you do that test where you're dragging around on the resizing menu, then your site should actually resize itself similar to what we're looking at here. So I wanted to point out an example of responsive design so you know what to look for. You could actually use this screen as an example if you're trying to hire a web designer, if you're trying to do it yourself, if you're using a WordPress theme, whatever the case is, you could use this as an example. Mobile optimization, another thing to consider when you are optimizing your site for mobile, not only is how it looks on those other devices, but you want to check your page load speeds, especially on a mobile device. If your page loads slow, meaning you have large images, large clunky images that are clogging it up, then your page is going to load extremely slow. And that's actually going to harm you as well because people are going to quickly leave. People have a short attention span in this day and age, even more so than in the past. And so you need to capture their attention. If you have slow page load speeds, they're going to be gone. So Google PageSpeed Insights is a really powerful tool that you can use for this. You can go out to developers.google.com/speed /page speed /insights. And you could also do a simple Google search and find the same link called Google PageSpeed Insights. And I would probably recommend doing it the search method, or you could copy and paste from this as well if you would like. Google search. You could also do a Google search to find responsive WordPress theme. If your website or your blog is built on the WordPress platform, which I mentioned that because a lot of websites are, you could do a Google search and actually find a responsive WordPress theme fairly easily for yourself. So that would be something to consider. You could post a job on freelance sites for responsive redesign, and those would be sites like freelancer.com, odesk.com. Those are two of the biggest ones, especially Freelancer. They've actually acquired Rent-A-Coder. They've been slowly acquiring like Get a Freelancer, all the big ones. They've kind of built into a large conglomerate. So you could probably easily find some workers on Freelancer. Let them know you're looking for a redesign of your current website and that you want to make it responsive. You want to make it mobile responsive. Also, have them fix page speed insights issues on your site. So if you run that page speed insights tool, and it actually will give you suggestions as to what kind of things you could change or you could tweak on your site to actually increase and improve how fast it loads on devices. And that actually making these changes will also impact how it loads on actual laptop computers and iPads and bigger devices, not just mobile phones, which is ultimately going to help you across the board because Google actually does consider your page load speed as part of their quality ranking factors. If you have a website that's slow to load, they're going to also somewhat penalize you in a sense, and it's not going to help you rank in the search engines. So improving this will help your mobile experience for your visitors, which in turn benefits you because it helps you get more SEO traffic from the search engines, that free organic targeted visitors that we're out to get. So here's the Google PageSpeed Insights tool. Again, you could just do a Google search to try and find it. Here's a website over here on the right hand side. You can kind of see this is what it looks like to actually display. This is what your website would look like in this device. I just picked a company that I've used in the past to purchase supplements from. And you can see here on a mobile device, it will tell you some different things. So it'll say this site scored at a 56 of a 100. You might want to eliminate render blocking, JavaScript, and CSS and above the fold content. And then it will actually, if you click that link, show how to fix. It will actually give you an explanation of how to fix that or some suggestions. So again, this would be a cool tool. You could run it for free. And then when you hire somebody to do your responsive design, you could say, hey, I want you to fix this issue because I'm seeing this. Or you could recommend they use the Google PageSpeed tool if they don't know about it already. Also, you could mention leverage browser caching. So these are all things that people could look at fixing. They actually label it for you as should fix, meaning you should get this fixed to really improve your help, or you could do consider fixing. Things like optimizing your images. That's important because a lot of times if you use very large files, image file sizes, and you're using a larger image size than you need, sometimes people will load up a website with large images that actually would fill up the entire screen, but actually they only need to fill up a small window. So instead of needing a picture that's 800 by 900, you might actually need a picture that's 200 by 150 or whatever the case might be. And if that's the case, you should actually only resize that image and upload it just to the size that you need on that website, because instead of it pulling from a large file, it's going to pull from a smaller one, therefore increasing your speed on mobile devices. So you can see here from a user experience level, it'll say 61 of 100. Use legible font sizes, tap targets appropriately, configure the viewpoints. So these are all things that should fix. It passed different rules, and so these are all things that it shows you within this tool. It's a very powerful tool that you can use when doing your mobile optimization. So those are some tips that you could leverage. I would recommend, if you're using WordPress, get a responsive WordPress design or outsource it if you're not familiar, especially with doing it yourself. You could also Google search how to do responsive design. That is for an entirely different training course, which is not included in this particular training, but it is something that you could look into. It's an entire subject matter in and of itself, but this gives you the keys to knowing what to look for, what to ask for, and when you're getting your website redesigned, when you're designing your website, when you're looking at improving your website. You could also look at just getting a mobile only type website so that when people do come to your site from a mobile phone or mobile search engine, they're actually automatically redirected to the mobile version of your site, and you're not having to tweak too much with the desktop version. So there are ways you can do that. Now we're going to shift gears and talk about understanding search results and the different types of search results. I just wanted to point these out because they can have an impact on things that may actually give you some ideas of how you could actually help yourself get more organic free traffic. Personalized search results are part of Google now. It's becoming an increasingly important part. For example, a person in Dallas, Texas, and a person in Los Angeles, California will see totally different results based on their location. And the big reason behind that is because Google is putting a big weight on how people are interacting with local businesses through their search engine. And so, if you are in Dallas, Texas, and you're looking for a dog groomer in Dallas, Texas, you are going to be served up because they can pick from your IP, like where you're searching from. You're going to be only shown dog groomers from Dallas, Texas. You're not going to be showing them from LA or from Miami, Florida. They're going to pull and pick them up from where you are locally. So that's something to keep in mind and understand as you do SEO, that there are certain results that are going to vary. Sometimes, like the main organic results, the non-local ones, those ones pretty much will stay the same, but they may adjust a little bit accordingly. Not all phrases are impacted by personalized search, though, but Google has an idea on the searcher's intent. They've actually obviously been around long enough to where they know what people intend to look for. Detailed searches don't show, all the other content involved with them. Search engines want to improve the user's experience as much as possible, and so therefore they want to show them things that they want. Search engines factor in things like, the IP location. Where are people actually searching from? GPS location on your phone if you have that feature turned on. Social networks. Bing is really big on this, the Bing search engine, not as much Google, but they will actually let you know, like, hey, here's websites that your friends recommended or that your friends have recently visited or that your friends have talked about recently. That will actually play in as well into, kind of understanding search results. Google can actually incorporate that with Google Plus. Bing will actually do that with Facebook and Twitter and other elements. Previous searches you have done. That's another thing personalized search does. And so that means if your audience that you're trying to reach is logged in on their computer or logged into their Chrome browser, for example, or they've logged into Google when they're doing their searches, Google will actually keep track of that history. Now, not everybody does that. A lot of people don't. But these are just things to understand. So you also know when you're actually checking your rankings, when you're looking for how you're doing or how your competition's doing, you need to actually check your website when you're logged in and when you're not logged in, or if you're logged in as someone else. Make sure you're checking where your site stands. Even especially if you're a local business, it's important to know kind of how you're showing up to people. Universal search is where search engines pull data together from a variety of sources. So this could include a conglomerate. So sometimes you'll do a search and you'll get news stories show up. You'll get company pages that just pop up, videos, you'll get images, you'll get a Wikipedia article, and they might be the main theme of that website. They might be the main theme of the Google search page. They might actually almost take it over in the top part of it before they actually show results below. So you'll see that sometimes. Local results, again, are showing up more in search results. Mobile phones play a huge role in this because they do base it off where you're searching from within your device. That's why it's important to check where when you're looking locally. Like let's say you are on a business trip in Miami and your business is located in Los Angeles, California, and you want to look up dog groomers, you're going to see a list of Miami dog groomers. So don't panic if you're not seeing yourself listed under dog groomers in LA, because it's going to pull from the GPS location. And I'm telling you this stuff so you understand how the search engines are working, so you can actually make sure you're optimizing correctly as well for your visitors. Trending topics. Google News results may come up at this point. So if you're trying to get traffic for a trending topic, like let's say election results, that would be a really good time, depending on what your niche is about. You could do, if your website is about selling, let's say, something to do with ammunition, or maybe you're selling targets for people that have guns and they want to do target practice. Well, there's a lot of legislation going on in various elections about gun uses and guns in the elections and those types of things. So if you're a website that sells stuff that gun owners like, that gun owners appreciate, and you're selling those things like targets or different hunting vests, or let's say you have a hunting gear that you're selling on your website, you could do a blog post about election results and how they impact hunters or something like that. Because when a trending topic comes up, that's going to be pulled in. That's going to encourage people to go over to Google News and check it out. So that's a good example there of how you could leverage that. Like let's say you're selling sports equipment and you want to tap in on the Super Bowl or football season, or let's say you're in the middle of the World Series or baseball season, whatever the case is, and you sell sports equipment, that would be a good opportunity for you to do a blog post related to that. So look at trending topics. Gives you reason to capitalize on big news happenings and events within your content. And it's a really good idea that because what you'll find is sometimes Google will actually display the first 5 or 6 listings might be trending topics instead of actually showing straight up search results like they normally would. And that depends on the search phrase too. If you're typing in gun election results, then that's kind of a trending topic. Now, if you're just typing in, let's say targets for shooters, or let's say you're typing in hunting gear, that may not automatically pull in with Google a trending topic. And so those are things just to understand though, but you could create content based on trending topics and news stories. If Google is unsure as to what you're looking for, they may give you multiple results to consider. So you may find obviously that you'll have the AdWords show up, Google Shopping ads might display, organic results, Google Places, like local businesses will show up. And so you're going to find all kinds of different things may show up within your searches. You're also going to find maybe news topics will come up, and that's if Google's unsure. And so these are things I wanted to help you understand, because as you do searches, this is kind of the how Google's changed a lot more recently. They've kind of, the evolution of Google, if you will, is that it's really transforming into more of an experience that makes life easier on the searcher. They want to improve how the searcher sees things and views things, which sometimes can make it difficult for SEO. But it's also all the more important reason that you could tap into some of these. And it's important that you know how to look for your website, whether you're logged into your Google account to where it can track past searches you've done, or you're not logged out or logged out completely when you do the searches. That makes a difference to how your users are going to interact with your content. So keep those things in mind so you can optimize accordingly and make sure mobile wise that you're showing up, that your business shows up locally as well. Make sure, like trending topics, that you're on top of that. If it's a trending topic or a trending news story or a big election or a big sporting event and you can somehow tie it in with your business, do a story about it, because Google is going to be showing up when people search for those things, trending news stories or trending articles related to that. In the next video, we'll talk about effective keyword research.